whether or not this is going to work. It says going live. Oh, we're live. Hey! It says we're live. And it's super delayed, but that's okay. Okay, let's see, check the stream settings.
Yeah, I just heard the message for you going live, so.
Cool. Okay, it might actually be working. I don't know.
We'll go with it is.
Try and chat with me, guys. See if there's anything that you can say. If you are watching, because I see I've got a couple viewers, it says. Maybe, maybe not. Hey, there's Eagle. Thank you, Eagle. At least I know it's working, and I know that Restream will not work with this. Okay. So, we need to make some fundamental changes to the mod to make this thing better, right? Hey, Ballista. Very Java. Hey, Tinkerbell. I'm not liking the fact I won't get Restream notifications at all. Hey, Pikachu. Hope you're feeling better. Let's see, can we change anything else in this? We can create highlights. We can share. Oh, there's a share link right there. That would have been good to know about 5 minutes ago when I was looking for the link. Participants. Ooh, we can see who's here. Does it work with stream avatars though? So I have stream avatars running, but I don't think it's gonna work. So I'm gonna close it out, I guess. No stream avatars for tonight. We'll deal with that later. So the major change I need to work on is the last one that's left on our issues tracking, and it's this unit training queues. I've put it off because I know what a monumental task it appears in my brain, because I can't wrap my head around the correct way that will address everything, because I'm not sure if I thought of everything. So what this means, the unit queues, is right now when you put down a barracks, that barracks doesn't look at what you've requested to be built. It will just automatically try and build a minion every 10 seconds. What the unit queues will do is you will go into a GUI after placing your barracks and queue up saying, I want to buy 10 minions. And then all of your barracks will not need to get resources from you, because you've already done it when you say, I want to purchase 10 minions. Those... How do I want to describe this? Those barracks then start working through that backlog or orders that you've placed of 10 minions and actually spits them out. So what this does for us from a gameplay standpoint is, instead of every 10 seconds you're constantly paying for something, even if you don't want it, like if you don't want more minions, it'll take that away and make it to you pay up front and only for what you request. There is a strong possibility that we will put in an option for infinite queues. But what that means is you go into that queue and it will give you an option to remove that infinite queue, right? So that you don't have to continue to pay for it. So I want to make it so that you can still do the functionality we have now, where I want as many Lancers as I possibly can, right? And constantly be buying them for me. But also let you shut it off without having to run around to all the buildings. Is basically what we're trying to do. And also it takes the cost from when you actually spit the unit out and moves it to the point when you're requesting the unit. Unless it's infinite. If it's infinite, then it has to be a different thing. And the infinite thing, I'm still on edge. I'm edge with the infinite thing. Are you being your trolly self, or are you actually agreeing with the non-constant cost thing?
No, I wasn't listening.
Okay. Because I could have seen you saying that you actually agree because of last night. A lot of our issues with last night, I think, were around the fact that we would place down buildings, and those buildings would consume all of our resources, and we couldn't make more economy buildings because of it. Like, we didn't have the stone to make more stone building things because we couldn't afford it. We couldn't turn anything off.
I mean, I'm okay with that because it makes the game kind of give it a pace. Instead of like just boom, 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 and we're finished and we're attacking. It kind of makes the game kind of.
There'll still be the build time involved.
Yeah.
So
there's gonna be a build time.
There's build time now for the recruitment of your troops, right? So every 10 seconds, another one can pump out. I'm going to keep that, but probably also make it configurable by the unit. It's just you're paying for them up front, and then they start producing.
No.
It also means I walk away from my base to attack somebody and come back and have no troops there unless you have a big backlog of that you've ordered. That's a good and bad. So let's start on this. This is going to be complex for me to get working. So I'm going to create a brand new branch for it because it's probably going to break everything. Break everything. What are we going to call it? Unit queues. Unit queue. Sure. So it's a break everything branch, which means I don't care what I do to this, because if it's totally bad, I will throw it away. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is set up a way for the player to start interacting with it, I think. And that means another GUI screen. So let's go into that first. So we've got all these. Let's copy, I guess, the troop building screen. And we'll call it unit recruitment screen. Okay. In this screen, we're going to currently right now just make it the same as buying a what's the word? A structure. We're going to behave the same. So we're going to have minion, archer. What's the word for this? Lancer. And finally, pikeman. And pikeman's another reason I'm doing this. Right now, there's no way for you to tell the barracks to start making pikemen instead of minions, because it just automatically pumps out minions. Let's go into this and get some more buttons set up here. Looks like we're down through 12 already on our GUI buttons. By minion, archer, there you go.
Am I there?
Nope, we all left.
Somebody's really quiet for me.
Oh, okay. Hey,
Lancer.
Tech.
Yeah.
Didn't you pretty much already do this by doing the XP grinder or XP sucker? Where it... XP collector, thank you. Where it checked the amount of resources that you already had and verified, then gave you that many?
Yeah, this is different though. I get what you're saying. It like I've already got the button worked out to where you buy it. That's fine. It's more about setting up the queue that says this team wants 5 minions, and please make those for me over time. That's the hard part. There's no queue set up in this right now for that type of thing. Basically, I need a global variable by team that says this team needs 5 minions.
Okay.
And then any barracks needs to start working through that queue of minions.
So what you're saying is, a few things I'm thinking away would probably take a lot of coding.
What I'm saying, the way I'm going to do it is going to take a lot of coding, because if I do it the way I want, there's going to be some structures that can make multiple types of units. And if I buy a minion before I buy a knight, and then buy a pikeman in that order, I want it to spit them out in that order. So that probably means I need some type of list for it to work through. And that list needs to go in order. And possibly, we might make it so that you can cancel things on that list.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, if you can cancel in the middle of the list, it needs to be like a linked list structure, which is doable. It's more of a pain. I think also it probably means there's a limit to how many things are in the queue, but that gets kind of complicated in a game where we might need 200 units going.
Yeah.
My wife sends me a message just now. Haven't been streaming all day. She sends me a message, asks me to do something.
It's okay, Tag.
No, it's not. Oh no. No, the code's getting too small for me. Wow, I finally, after all this time, found the button in Eclipse that lets us make the font bigger. By mistake. Hey, you guys can actually read my code now. Hello, the chin. The chin? How would you pronounce that? And below the stone, progress has been pretty good. There's been some bugs, but the thing I'm undertaking right now is going to be ugly for me. And maybe it's all in my head and I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. That's often what happens with when I program. Like, I think something's complex and when I actually sit down to do it, I'm able to just fly through it. GUI button. Bye. Okay. So that handles the buttons. We need to draw the cost on the screen, which is this, and it's currently taking an item. That's because this is set up for buildings, not troops. So maybe we need to change this one to take a unit cost from the config. No, wait, we got it down here. There's a utilities. Oh, maybe it is in the config. So the config has a structure that we've defined. Weapon modifier, unit attributes. Oh, resource values. So if we set that up to take a resource value, instead, we'll refactor that to be an RV. And somehow that's working. We haven't imported this, it doesn't know what it is, so it can't error off about this. Okay. So then we need to, hey Leonardo, change or create a new method that takes a resource value in. Ugh. Let's not do that. That means we have to do 7 of those or whatever. Let's do it in here instead. So this RV can give us the cost for the food specifically, because it's got its own methods built into it. So we can say rv.get food like that instead. There we go. So then we can do rv.getWood. And what this part of the code is doing is figuring out the cost associated with the thing we're trying to buy and displaying it on the screen. So that's like the part that goes red and white if you can buy it or not. Iron. This is gold. Diamond, RV, diamond. And emerald, which would never really have a cost unless somebody's modified the configs beyond what we do. Okay. And then there's something else, drawing cost. Okay, so now we need to change these to be the different attributes we're after. And we've got 4 buttons we've created. And they're in order minion. So we get the config.minion cost.
Ugh. I'll be back.
Okay. Archer. What's the next guy's name? Lancer. Right. Archer, Lancer. We don't have one for pikeman? We don't have one for pikeman. We need to set one up.
Pikeman.
Pikeman. They're a thing, but you can't spawn them in because they haven't done this stuff yet. It's like I was saying, the barracks should spawn them, I think. I don't think we need a special building for them. And because that should spawn them, I have no way of you choosing if it's a minion or a pikeman. Right now you just place down a barracks and it spits out pikeman for you.
Okay.
So with this change, hopefully we can make it all work. Okay, so there's this one. Need to grab the same for pikeman then. This Lancer. I'm gonna put them at 5 gold, but everything else the same as. No, I'm gonna change that as well. And we'll make 2 iron.
Okay, Tech. I'm willing to jump off here. I
Okay.
got a few things I need to do.
Okay.
Catch you later.
Later. So that should do that one then. So now we can do pikeman here. Okay, so that should be the drawing of the cost of each of these units. They won't actually function yet, but that's okay. Let's check the eco building one. What's the config thing that it's doing? Town hall packet button. Wow, okay. Town hall GUI handler. Watchtower, it's okay. That's okay. So we'll need to add these buttons here to that other method we were just looking at. But we need to save that for a minute because I got to get the rest of this screen set up, which means I need the container and the yeah, it's all messed up. Okay, so let's go here. We're gonna copy this one. We're gonna paste it in. Yeah, we're gonna save the other one, and it's gonna be unit recruitment. And this is where we get over to here to change this, okay. So I guess this is going to be a little bit different than a normal RTS. In a normal RTS, you may not necessarily have a central screen that you go into to recruit things for all the different buildings that can make units. But I don't know of a better way of doing it in this one other than making you run all over the place constantly. I'm trying to avoid that. Why doesn't it like that? Oh, because I haven't made it yet. Now we can go back. This should be happy. We need to put this down here now. Actually, it's going to take that one. And this is going to be unit recruitment container. Like that. Okay. This gets changed to unit recruitment container, unit recruitment container, blah, blah, blah. We're all happy there. Now we can go back to the screen, change this to unit recruitment container, which means this can get changed, which means that's all happy. We need a provider for it.
BRB.
RJR. Or RGR. And recruitment container. Okay, and then I think in the proxy we need one more reference somewhere. Yeah, right here. Okay, and now we need to go back to the main screen, the main menu. Here, and we need another one of these set up in here. Unit recruitment and ID 13. Go to this, go back, menu, paste that in there like that for temporary use, and then do this. Unit recruitment. Okay, then this needs to have a reference for this type, so it knows what to do when it gets there. So do case reference dot this, and we will do the network call to create the container provider that's needed for unit recruitment. That. Okay, so that's all there. It should work. We can test it in a moment, but the screen itself isn't going to do anything right now. In fact, what it will do is call this packet trying to buy with these IDs, and it's not going to know what to do. So this packet gets called to the town hall piece here, and we need to else if button ID equals these values. So reference dot GUI by minion, and then currently calling buyer plays item or whatever, player buys item. We need to do what the tile entity for the barracks does. When it goes to spawn unit, it just spends the resources and gets the needed resources. Okay. So spend resources, though, is a hard-coded thing for that unit type. And this is where it starts getting complete. CZ, no, I'm making the unit queues, or trying to not fail at it. I made a screen that can handle the buttons. Probably. Yeah, it is. I even spelled it right there. It's something no one else would see but us, but still better to fix it. Yeah. So this is on the server. The server will know the cost. It needs to do the same thing that the buy button's doing effectively. It's just that the buy button, or the the barracks themselves, if I can find it again, is set up so that it's all self-contained, and the code's simplified by the fact that it just says has the needed resources, spend the needed resources kind of thing, right? And those checks are coded for that specific unit. And it's only because it's 7 lines of code that I'm like, I have to do that. I'm already thinking through in my head, I can simplify this if I just move this code around, essentially. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that code. I'm actually going to cut it out of here. It's going to break this tile entity temporarily. It's going to give us errors in our code. And this is our utilities class that does everything in the mod pretty much. So I'm going to add those two classes, and I'm going to modify their names. I'm going to say spend resources for minion. And then the world's happy. And apparently I need the team to be passed into this. Team name. And that can be a string. Okay, and then I can get rid of this whole line. Because now we've got team name set by whatever the caller is. And I guess the same true here. We can say team name on the other method. So we need to call both of these still. So if team name is not equals to null, or equals null, then that, and then get rid of this. Okay, so now I need to do the same as the barracks. Here, these two lines. My gosh. Under here. If it has the needed resources for minion. Oops. Did I not rename it? Didn't rename it right. That's what's wrong. So if we have it, we spend it. Oh, we need the team name. Okay, so we can get the player. So we say if player is dot get team is not null. Want to check that to ensure that it is on a team, because if there's a spectator or something silly. And then we can say string team equals player dot get team get name. Right? Team name. I think that is correct. Not sure if it's name or display name, so we'll find out when it crashes. And then we can say team. On both of those. They're happy. Okay, so the same thing then needs to be repeated for the others. We copy those other buttons in, essentially, and use the same setup, but each one calls a different method. I'm pausing because do we do it this way, or do we pass in as a second parameter a resource value, make these generic, and then put this line here that goes to that config on the caller? I think that's the better way of doing it. So we will do that. We'll call it RV, save this, and then we call RV down here dot get food. Okay, we got to import it first. Those resource values. Yeah, resource values, okay. And we'll call this for unit instead, because it is, or for resource values. There we go. Spend resources for resource values. Blop blop. That's not the right line. That's the right line. Trying to avoid making a new two new methods with 7 lines of code that are unique for those units. Instead, just passing a parameter into each of these is what I'm doing here. Okay, so now we can modify these lines to say copy that, and we will copy that, I guess, and select those lines, do a find. We're going to look for that, replace it with RV in the selected lines, replace all. Ta-da. Then here we say config dot get, no wait, not to get, minion. Unit cost minion, done. Okay, and then this one will be archer. That's much easier to code for. Something's airing off. Spin resources for resource value. Oh, we just need to make them static. Okay. No worries, Spooderman. And hello. Everyone has left me. In Discord. Okay, so then we're going to say not the archer, the lancer here. Do I? I do. I want to change one line of code when I add a new one, not two. So resource value RV equals, I know it's lazy, RV. And then this becomes the same for every single one except for one line, not two. It should be archer. Lancer. And then to add pikemen, we do it right here. We're changing this line and this line. Could even create another method that does that lookup for us, but meh. Okay, so that'll spend the goods for us. It doesn't do anything with the queue yet. Right? So it'll check, should we do it? Should we spend the resources? Because again, the reason this was set up this way before, like this, is it's checking each resource. And if there's ever a case where we don't have one of these 7 resources that unit might need, it fails and won't let you buy it, right? So it has need, right? If we went straight into spending the resources, it might spend the food, the wood, the stone, and you don't have iron. And I don't want to have to reverse that spending back out. So that's why we do a check for has the needed resources before we spend the resources. If this were a relational database, we're making sure we have transactional consistency before we commit. Is basically what we're doing. Okay. Now the queues, right? That's the next thing. And the queues are going to be something I'm not sure how they should be defined as far as the structure of the data that defines what it should be. So let's spend a moment in Paint, I guess, talking about this. Actually, let's load this up while we're doing this. I'm going to load this up so we can see if the GUI even works. Oh, we got an error. Where is our error? In fact, let's stop that. I didn't mean to hit proceed. Where is our error? It's probably in the barracks because I broke the barracks code. Yeah, okay, so let's just comment this out for right at the moment. The barracks are going to spawn all over the place just for now. And that's fine. We'll fix it later. So we need the queue there before the barracks can check the queue. That's why I'm doing that. Okay, so we need a big pencil first. Okay, man. I guess have fun at work, even though it's work and whatnot. Let's use Photoshop. I can use different sizes and it's easier. Let's create a new image in Photoshop. Yeah, that should be more than big enough for me. Thank you. So, a couple things. I was saying earlier to other people that were here that we need to have a way of showing what's in the queue. I think if it was the best I could do, right? We need a list. So that's what I'm trying to replicate here. Hey, bye.
Hello.
Transform. So imagine each one of these squares is representing another unit in the queue. Why is Photoshop being so poop? And the problem that I'm having in my mind is I need to know what this unit is, right? So maybe an ID is enough. I need to know what that unit is on the server, and I need to know what that unit is on the client as well, so that we can render its image here on the GUI that says, here's what my queue is. Now, the other problem I have is there's probably multiple queues in this to do it right, because telling it that I want 5 minions and 5 lancers, the work of those unit productions is going to be split between 2 different buildings. Maybe 10 different buildings, and 5 of them will be barracks, and 5 of them will be stables, if I can think of the word. Or maybe it's 7 and 3, right? So how do I account for that and divvy up which building in the world goes with what it should produce, right? I can envision the first barracks that runs and is able to produce a unit, just grabs the next unit out of the queue for barracks and works. All great. But that means as a player, if you've got barracks on your front line and barracks in the back by your safe hold, right? Not in the front line. If the one in by your base all the way in the back is the one that runs first, it's going to be the one that's going to spit out a unit, and you may not want that. You might want them to spit out on the front line. I was thinking one central queue from the standpoint of I don't want to have to run around to each of the buildings to tell it what to do. And unless we have some mythical minimap that displays where all of the buildings are, that's the only way I can think of to tell. That's okay. If we had a minimap that showed here's the world, right? And the world is all set up, and let's say it's all a greenish color because it's all grass, right? So that's the world. And we've got a barracks that is, let's say, blue. We'll just make it bluish. Here, here, and here. Wow, those clicks are slow. If I had that, you could click on that spot and then tell that one to make troops. But we don't have that. I'm aware we have the on-off buttons in the barracks. That could still be a thing. And when it's off, it doesn't work through the queue. Oh. We could, but then you need to ensure uniqueness, etc. if you wanted to try and do what you're talking about, which I think is name the one on the front line front line. There's a line on the queue screen that lets you pick the front line one and then add units to it. I'm almost thinking what I've got on my screen right now with the minimap is probably the best way to do it. Be confusing as all get out. Be harder than heck for me to code because I don't know how to make a minimap. I have some ideas, but... Hey, Spiderman.
So,
Yes, go ahead.
Colony Survival got its Steam Workshop.
I am drawing a blank on Colony Survival. Is that the one
the
with
one
the
where you-
asteroid comes?
No, that's
Eco.
No, Colony Survival is the one where you start out and you have to use minions to produce stuff, and eventually it draws the attention of zombies that start coming in waves.
Okay, I know the tower defense that looks like Minecraft the most.
Yep.
Only like poopier graphics in some ways and better in others. Yeah,
So,
okay.
yeah,
So it's got
Mod-
what now? Mod shop?
Mod Shop.
Workshop. Mod shop.
Workshop. Yep.
That's cool.
I'm actually gonna have to go check that out.
Spooderman, I'm trying to design how these queues should work from both a technical standpoint and also like visual, how you interact with them. And right now, I'm, as the person that has to program it, not liking it because it's going to be complex, but as the person that wants to play the mod, I'm liking it. So I think that person needs to win because there's more people that, well, hopefully there's more people that'll play the mod than people that program it. It's just... You can default name them and have them default back if a non-unique name is provided. Yeah, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I even thought of we could just have a list that goes through that randomly picks one. Who's the best YouTuber on the internet? I don't know. I can't claim that I know who it is. Because everyone likes something different, so the answer would be different depending on who you ask. Okay, let's go into this world, see if we even got the GUI working for what we're talking about so far. Because we do need to draw it on the screen in some way. So let's pick blue, red, start, ready, start. Okay, so now let's go into the GUI. We got unit recruitment. It does come up. It shows the wrong thing though. What's up with that? Unit recruitment screen. So the main menu. Unit recruitment, main menu, okay. Yeah, I knew you guys would say that. But not everybody likes PewDiePie. There's some people. There is a lot of them, but not everyone. There we go, that's the problem right here. So did we break this one? We did. So we switched these around. T-Series was view botting, so... Oh wow, really? I hadn't heard that one. Is that someone's theory, or did YouTube say that? I think it's funny that it got as many dislikes as it did. That's what I think of it. Because they're like, last year we did horrible, so we're going to try to let you guys run it this time. And then everybody dislikes it anyway, because... Yeah. Because just by them mentioning you guys didn't like it, made people want to not like it again. They should have just shut up and put it out there. And they would have had probably like 30% less dislikes. It'll probably be a running gag for the next 20 years that it'll always be the like most disliked video of the year. Doesn't help that YouTube doesn't have a good good PR with its users right now. right? All this COPPA stuff, the trying to take away YouTubers' income, and then they all just get all their fans against YouTube. They need to claim their perception in people's minds before people will start liking YouTube, the company YouTube. Yeah, yes, they did. So I was all fired up about doing it the generic way, but I know that's not going to work. We could take... So I'm hesitant. Blah. Like, if there's no reference point for what is on the screen, like which direction's north on this minimap, I can't just make it a generic green background with spots on there that are your unit production, which is what I would like to do, right? I can easily record where your unit production is, be it a barracks, an archery range, whatever. I can update that list, and you can pick, by just clicking on the right region of the screen, one of those, right? One of those dots. And that then could be interacting with that specific barracks unit production queue. But there be no indication what's up on this map, like what's where. Yeah, Discord's saying they're having issues because of the Google Cloud platform they use for their web services. They had some hard drive failure, basically, or SSD failure. It seems to be getting better, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes down again. Like my entire Discord, this one I'm talking on right now, disappeared for me for about 30 minutes. While I was talking to Fiery on Discord, it kicked me out and it was just gone. I couldn't go back into it when I restarted Discord.
Yeah, it was.
Let's see if I can see that message too. Oh, okay. So people that are watching in the stream right now, would something similar to this be useful? And I can even color code the dots based on what type they are, right? So maybe it's blue for troop production, or barracks, and it's yellow for whatever, the lancers, the stables, right? And then we could have just a generic green background, and then if it's a snowy world, it'll look funny. I don't know. Or could we do like what CZ's saying, and that's probably just as complex to, and probably more difficult to understand when you're playing the game. If we plop it down and it's called Raspberry, and the second one we put down is called Gemini, and the third one's called Apollo, or whatever, right? And then you have to remember where Apollo is in the world, and click on Apollo's queue to add it to come out in the spot that you want it. I don't know that's good. Yeah, I think we're going to track all the buildings for every team. And we're going to have a mini-map that lays out all your stuff. Yeah, that's probably not going to work great now, Spooderman. we're streaming a different way. I've got this streaming thing up, and it didn't work with stream avatars. It didn't know you were here or anything. I'll have to look into it a different night. Don't have the time to do that right now with this project going on, let's say. Hi.
Hello there.
You're live.
I am alive.
What you doing?
I've just finished like a really stupid, long, grindy thing in Destiny 2.
Oh, how fun.
It took, let's see, probably like about a month to complete entirely, and I just now finished it.
Cool.
And it's also like time gated, so I needed to get it done before Monday, otherwise I wouldn't be able to get it.
So you got it just in time.
Pretty much, yeah. So, how's the mod been coming along?
Well, you haven't been here so long. Do you know that we're working on an RTS mod instead of the heavy machinery mod?
Yeah, you don't remember I said that I might try and join you guys and then never did?
Okay. Didn't know if you remembered. It's going pretty good. I'm stuck on something that's just I need to decide which way to go. The complex way for me to program or the way that'll be nice to use. Which are both the same way. Easy for me or easy for the person to use is basically what the decision is.
Gotcha.
Obviously, I know the right answer. Hard for me. But I don't wanna. Okay, let's also make sure that this unit recruitment screen even works. So, yeah, okay. Took out resources. And we have no wood production. Awesome. Let's place down a town hall. So in a second we got 5. Okay, some minions lit up. And I can't click it. What the heck? Oh. Lancer worked. Okay, clearly there's something wrong here, so let's take a look at the code. Maybe I didn't set the utilities file up correctly. Where is it? Hey Pikachu, weren't you here earlier? Thought I said hi to you. Yeah, I know what you mean, Spooderman. It's been doing that a lot for me, where like I'll log into Discord on my phone, and it shows every Discord I have, every channel is like got new messages, and then I wait about 30 seconds and it stops. Let's do it this way. There we go. So this is right by it. Pikeman, Lancer, yeah, so that should work. What the heck? Let's see if we're even using the right button. Yes. config unit cost Lancer. I guess I never checked the Lancer out. Maybe he doesn't have the values getting set on that. Oh no, the Lancer's not the new one. The Lancer's the old one. Yeah, that's definitely been there. Now it's working, but it stops early, so it's like this amount here isn't right. Let's check that then. Minion Archer to Lancer Pikeman. Minion Archer. Lancer Pikeman.
Yay! My very first title.
In what? In Destiny?
Yeah.
What's your title?
Undying.
Emerald, diamond, gold, iron, stone, wood, food. Oh. Okay. Okay. I think I get it. I think it's all working. It's just not updating the screen fast enough. So where we're doing this, the spend resources for values, spend resources for team. It doesn't go back and send anything. Send update, send team to client. Maybe I didn't get the right name here. Put a breakpoint there. We're going to buy an archer, or try to. What? GUI button by archer. Why is it a 1, 2, 3, 4? That's what's wrong. Oh my gosh. I'm dumb. 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, and 6. Those need to be like incremental because it's a big else statement. So it would have found the other ones. That's why I was getting these in my inventory. Restart the game. Run again. Hello. Later, Pikachu. Okay, so unit recruitment, Archer. Yes, now it's actually getting down there. Cool. And it looks like it's actually working. Yay. Okay, so what we've done so far works. It doesn't give us the units because the queues are not hooked into it yet. Let me think on this for a second. I'll be right back. I would normally put up a battle royale, but I guess I can't because stream avatars isn't working. So listen to the music and enjoy. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So here's an interesting thing. I walk away for what, 2-3 minutes, come back, and the average watch time on this new screen goes up. People are watching longer when I'm not here than when I am. Hi, everybody. It went up again. So, to do a map on the screen effectively, right? Let's do a map out. It's not going to be perfect, but it's better than nothing. How do you use a map in Minecraft anymore? I can't. You have to put it in a cartographer's table to get it to start?
No, you should just right click on it.
Yeah. Right click. Nothing. There's only one map. It's an empty map.
Huh.
Does it not work on superflats?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't? Let me try that in a while then.
I think, yeah, I think I remember hearing something about it not working in Superfloss for some reason.
Create new world. Survivals. Creative. There we go. It's not a superflat this time. Let's see if it creates. Not that it matters, but it's just annoying that it didn't work. And I want to understand why it didn't work. 'Cause I might actually need to look at the map code a little bit and get it to work.
Uh-oh.
Let's see, so mop. Okay, now it's actually giving. Oh, it's probably because my inventory was full.
Was it?
It gives you a different map when you're like a different item when you're in creative. It keeps the empty map there.
Yeah.
Okay, so a map in Minecraft is this funny thing that's colors, but there's some shading to it too, based on height of the block adjacent to it. So the if it's a higher block to the south, then it's a lighter colored block, or something like that. What if we just drew this all as green, and you could click on it somehow? Like a regular GUI. Like a GUI like this, where you can click anywhere. Problem then becomes the map size. If the world's too big, how do we draw it on there?
What, adding 2 maps makes them bigger? In a cartographer table?
And not actually thinking of making a map.
Oh.
That's interesting. It even shows you the map in the GUI. That's cool. Like what's on the map. That just copies the map in cartography table, looks like. It's crafting grid. That's what it used to be. Crafting grid. Like you put empty maps around it or paper or something around it.
And then it would expand the map.
Yeah. So empty maps, and I'll get paper too, just in case it's paper. So I can't remember which one it is. That makes 9 maps at 1:1 scaling. This is a 1:1 scaling, so it just copies the map. Putting paper around it though. What did that do? Yeah, made it smaller. Made the blocks smaller on the map so that you can see a bigger area.
Yeah.
Because I was home and wanted to work on the mod. That's why. Weekends are always going to be weird for me. I'll probably start the evening stream much later than normal, and might have random day streams or morning streams on weekends or days off. Which will happen here in a couple weeks. I'll have 2 weeks
Oh,
off.
yeah,
at the end of
Tech.
the year. Yeah.
I wanted to tell you that I'm getting new PC parts for Christmas.
Ooh. How do you know already? It ain't Christmas, man.
I put it on my Christmas list,
Hmm.
so I'm pretty sure Santa's gonna give it to me.
Gotcha. You've been wiretapping
But,
Santa's phone, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. I built it on PC Part Picker, and all of a sudden, all the parts were ordered. So I was like, "Ooh, that's cool."
Oh, they like used your computer to order it on PC Part Picker.
Yep.
Okay, Santa is not as crafty as he leads himself to believe. Even. So if that's the case, it sounds like you even know exactly what parts you're getting or potentially getting.
Well, I did make the list with all the parts, so if he's getting those specific ones, I know exactly what I'm getting. Yes.
So what are you getting? What kind of graphics card? What
Well, right now, let me look really quick. I'm just gonna use my graphics card from this current computer that I have,
Mhm.
which is a 1060.
More than enough. You
Um,
play VR with it, so it's more than enough.
yeah, and then I'm gonna get an AMD Ryzen 5 2600 3.4 gigahertz 6-core processor,
Cool.
a Cooler Master Hyper 212 RGB Black Edition CPU cooler, an Asus Prime X470 Pro AM4 motherboard. I'm also getting Corsair Vengeance LPX 16GB memory. I'm gonna get a 1TB solid state drive. And a 650-watt gold certified semi-modular power supply.
Cool. So you're gonna reuse your current case too, then?
No, I'm getting a new case as well because this current case will not fit.
Yeah.
Like new PC parts, like especially the motherboard. The motherboard definitely won't fit in because this current computer I have, I believe it's called a mini motherboard or something like that. I don't know the exact terminology for it, but it's like it's a smaller one.
Yeah.
So the entire case is smaller than a normal computer would be.
Yeah, it's not a full tower. It's probably like a half tower or maybe a mini.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'll
It
say
was nice for a starter PC, but I think I'm ready for an actual PC.
Yeah. I'll say, like, I've had many cheap cases before because I'm always like, it's just a case. I don't care.
Yeah.
Cheap cases fall apart. And I can say that with enough experience that, like, I've had 3 or 4 computer cases that were just crap. Like, the computer case fell apart before, like, the hard drive crashed inside the computer and stuff. And you wouldn't think, it's plastic, right? Why would it? They did. Like, the plastic clips will fall off of them, or I guess the one I needed a fan that was a different size because it was smaller case, kind of like you're describing and stuff like that. But this case I have now, I like it.
Huh.
It's a tempered glass case. It's the one that I got my wife too. That's why I got it on the one I got now, because she had it, and it's got dust filters over all the fans on the front, and those things get filthy, but the inside of the case stays pristine and not dusty at all, really. And I leave my computer on all the time, so like once a month I'll clean those dust filters off the front of it because it's all see-through and you can see them. So yeah, those kind of things on it are actually kind of nice because it keeps the internal components from getting all nasty and clogged when they're heat sinks and stuff. Oh. Anyway, my point is, I always went cheap, and there is a difference actually. I didn't ever believe that there would be, but if you get a nice case, it can actually be nice. This reminds me an awful lot of the map for the machinery mod server. I wonder if it's like the same seed somehow. Nah, never mind. It would have already went out of the jungle by now. That spawn point looked a lot like it.
The case I'm getting right now is $70.
Yeah. I'm not saying like there's all bad, but I've had some bad luck with some cheap ones, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's mostly plastic, be careful with it, right? If it's metal, it's probably okay. It'll hold up.
Side panel window is tempered glass.
There you go. Yeah, I didn't, before this one, I don't even think I had windows, but they were all like plastic windows. You just couldn't. You wouldn't know from a distance, but they're super cheap and like they bend and then like the clips don't go on to put the panel back on real easy. Why don't I have my skin? Because I'm playing in the dev environment. It doesn't actually play online though. Okay, stream. Sorry, I was delaying actually coding, I guess. I could create a structure that basically stores a block position and type of each structure that you spawn into the world. And that can be updated when the thing dies. And that can be used to populate the map. You can draw a green screen representing that it's mostly grass on the ground, and then draw dots in the place where those structures are that we spawned in. You know what? I'm going to do something different instead, because I can actually probably accomplish that even though it's just as difficult. It's just I have my head wrapped around that better. So let's do that instead. I'm going to do a commit on this stuff we've done so far because it is a starting point. It's just this map thing is not going to be a pretty solution, and I need to make it better. I need to design it better before I start coding on it, if that makes sense. So let's do this. GUI for unit Q. Unit recruitment. Started. Publish this up to its own little break everything branch for unit queues and go back to our normal queue branch. Okay, and then from this, let's look at the wall builder, wherever it is. Seems like Blue Boy's having a bad day. Where's the wall builder? It's under items. Builder items. Wall builder item. And the structure itself is there, but we call the code right. We don't actually call anything that actually builds it in here. It's all in the parent class, this one. So maybe we need to create another class based off of this as a middleman between the wall and the builder item that we can override this method in and go from there. Because the wall builder items can place on always returns true, so you can place it anywhere. Okay, so let's do what I just said. I'm going to create another class. New class. Wall. Not wall. So this is like a builder item that goes on top of the train. So a terrain hugging non-flat, what's another name? What is another name for this? Train hugging it is. Train hugging builder item. That's going to extend builder item. Extends builder item. That's going to make us do this. Okay. And another one, yep, unimplemented methods. And those unimplemented methods are fine because we're going to override those in child class of this. Okay. And now wall builder item needs to extend that. Train hugging builder item. And in terrain hugging builder item, we need the same method as builder item for the action. We're going to modify the contents slightly. Hey, Garby. Started out trying to add unit queues, but realized I need to give it some more design thought before I start trying to code it, because I'm not sure how it should be displayed to the person, how the player will interact with it. So instead, I'm switching over to the wall, because currently the wall won't work on terrain that's not even. So if I were to use this Photoshop image as an example, get rid of everything in here. If we had some terrain that was like, oops, yeah, that, and then it goes down, and then across, and then down and across, and then back up. Well, what's it doing there? What the heck? So it goes down, across, and back up, let's say. I think you get the idea, even though this is messing up. It won't build on that, but we need it to be able to build on that, and that's what I want to try and do. It's going to be a challenge. I'll say that much. Okay, so this load structure is how it needs to work. You can still do action after spawn, that's fine. But the load structure needs to change. We need to add another one that's load terrain structure or something like that. Terrain hugging structure. I'm gonna copy that name because we need to create that method, and we're gonna go into the normal one and go to that method. Okay, that's our new method. And it needs to return something, so we need to copy the guts of this code, and we're going to start modifying from there. And we probably also need to be able to modify this structure data. I might need to add an array to this, or modify another one that's a terrain hugging version of this. Because I need to know what the original terrain looked like, basically, so I don't try and replace those blocks later. Let's do this one step at a time. Let's get it spawning on top of the terrain, the existing terrain. So that means for each X and Z coordinate, I need to, as I'm looping through these... No, we can't. Oh, this is going to get way more complicated, I just realized. Shoot. We're calling the vanilla method, which does this. Oh no. The actual placing of blocks is not done by my code, it's done by vanilla, I forgot. That changes a lot. But maybe it's okay. Maybe we break the wall into smaller pieces for the player. Let me go into Minecraft so I can try and think this through with something visual I can show you guys. And actually, judging by how nuts my dog is going, I think my wife's home. Let's see if I can... If this loads, let me see if I can explain what I'm thinking, and then we can try and solution for it. Because the way things are set up right now, the target blocks point back to the structure. Kind of needs some uneven terrain, so this is a good world to go into. Okay, so set day. And let's go find a plains biome or something flat where we don't have trees everywhere. Let's lower my FPS because based on what the people at Minecraft were saying, the world loads faster if you have lower FPS setting. Not sure if that's this version or only the new versions, but okay, so here's some semi-flat land that we can work with. Okay, so we wanted to place down the wall structures. Let's get some blocks to do this wall structure with. Stone. Okay, let's use this for the actual building blocks. Let's use this for the target block and the crafting table for the control block that controls the whole thing. Okay, so if we wanted to place the wall, say, here, by clicking on the ground here, it's fine. You know, we can spawn in the control block there, the target block there, and then all the structure blocks around it, and it's all happy. All right, so there's that gap there, blah, blah, blah. And we can jump up it. What we can't do is spawn it one block to the left, and that's what I need to try and solve for. When we spawn it one block to the left, in theory, what it should do is this. So that would be our target. That would be our control block still. That would be those blocks. This block, so those two areas would be the same, right? No real change. What would change is over here. We'd still put 2 blocks on top, because that's what we did here. And then 3 blocks on top of this. So it would make for a funny looking wall, because it's going to hug the terrain. But that's all we needed to do, is hug the terrain. And if, say, this block were there, I think I might need to check to see, is this, this, and this the same height as each other? If they are, great. If they're not, don't let you place it there. And then if I were to place another one, oops, say in this spot, we would need to make sure that's not there. Or let's do this. Say we had it like this, right? And we wanted to place it here, so it goes this way and this way. It would need to hug it by doing this, right? So it'd go there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 1. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. No, wait, it's not that one, it's this block. And then that. And we've made it so that it continues the wall on. With our current design of how the wall looks. Now, I'm not sold on that wall style being the wall that we need, but I think it could work. It also could be improved upon with, say, being 5 wide or 5 thick. Alright, so like that. And let's say this was 3 tall. This is 2 tall. I guess we could keep it to 3 wide. do... I guess it would have to be an even number wide, wouldn't it? So I'm thinking we could do those type of walls where they've got the crenulations or whatever they're called. Every other block is higher. Visually, I think it would look cool. So I guess that one would be down. And then the next one we place down would do 4 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And it would be all the same. Right, like that. And all this would be filled in. And if this is all we're going to do, then do I need the structure code in here is the question. I don't think that I do. Maybe this is the exception. Maybe we don't use the structure for this. Because this needs to behave completely different from everything else. We don't want it to build on flat land. We want to bend it to our will, if you will. Haha. And maybe there's a check. If there's a 1 block change in height, it allows it. Or maybe even a 2 block. It'll hug the train. But if it's like 3 blocks, it doesn't try and place it there. Right? And then in the middle of these, we still get the target and the controlling block. And the controlling block could be back here, actually. So that would be a target. And then, so that's 1 whole unit, it's 4 wide. This is a whole unit, that'd be 4 wide as well. It'd be there, and there. And that becomes our wall. And we can choose in our code or in a config what the building block is that the wall is made out of. And there's also nothing stopping us from having targets all along the front of the whole thing to represent the health of the overall structure. You'd still do the division of the walls config, you know, if it should be 400, then each one of those are 100. And you have to take out basically the foundation all the way across of that wall. And maybe even we give the wall tile entity these things some different picture or something. There's no indication of what team this is, but we can figure out the team and place something. Basically what I'm saying is we don't use the structure file for this and we do it ourselves. And by ourselves I mean in code, me. I'm gonna try one more idea with the appearance of it only. And that is, instead of using stone bricks there, what if we use stairs? Stone brick stairs. And it's one of these jobs. It still needs to be 4 wide though, doesn't it? Because if it was 3, it wouldn't work. Okay, never mind on that then. I was trying to avoid making it irregular in shape. Because everything else is even size, but that's not going to be even size, which makes it funner for other things in the code. Okay, let me go. I'm going to stop the stream, guys. I'm going to go say hi to my wife, see how her day was. And I'll be back after bed, I'm sure, maybe after dinner. And we'll get this coding in, I think. Bye.